tens of millions of children are forced to work in countries around the world. The United Nations International Labor Organization called for an end to child labor Wednesday to mark World Day Against Child Labor. The Geneva, Switzerland-based ILO is holding its yearly International Labor Conference. Children as young as 5 are among the 152 million victims of child labor. Many of them work long hours for little or no money in slave-like conditions. The International Labor Organization says half of them are involved in unhealthy and dangerous work. The ILO says most children work in agriculture. They can also be found in the mining, building, fishing, and domestic service industries.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today to this joint conference hosted by the Departments of State and Labor. I especially want to thank you for your work to better the lives of children and families across the globe, because the exploitation of children anywhere should be a concern to people everywhere. As the global community marks World Day Against Child Labor this week, we in the United States must take stock of the progress made and the challenges ahead. 10 years ago, we became one of the first countries to ratify the International Labor Organization's Convention on the Worst Forms of Child Labor, and we remain committed to ending child exploitation, including child soldiering, child trafficking, and any work that harms the health, safety, or morals of children.
A week earlier, the International Labor Organization released its third global report on child labor. The report said there are still 215 million child laborers in the world. 115 million of them are working in some of the worst kinds of child labor. These are often dangerous to their health and safety. The ILO notes that child labor is decreasing worldwide, but at a much slower rate than 4 years ago. The organization also warned that the global economic crisis could slow progress even more. It called for an increase in global efforts in order to reach the goals for ending the worst forms of child labor. Representatives at the conference last week talked about what actions need to be taken.
The problem of child labor may be entrenched, but it is also solvable. And working together, we can provide families across the world with meaningful alternatives to child labor. And by doing that, we address the root causes, including inequality, inadequate access to education, a lack of decent work for parents, poor enforcement of labor laws, all of which perpetuate the cycle of poverty. Ending labor exploitation is our shared responsibility because every child born into this world deserves the opportunity to achieve his or her God-given potential. So thank you again for your work on this important issue, and I give you my very best wishes that this will be a productive conference.
Patrick Quinn is with the ILO's International Program on the Elimination of Child Labor. He says there is clear evidence of the kinds of policies and programming interventions that can be most effective in combating the problem.
We know, for example, that if governments tackle the barriers that stop poor families accessing education, if they tackle the fees which many poor families often have to pay for education, they can encourage children to attend school. So governments putting in place the right education policies. In many parts of the world, we've seen that if governments introduce social protection programs, measures, for example, which give family benefits to families with children, particularly poorer families, this can have an important impact in enabling people to keep their children in school and out of the workforce.
Beata Andres is chief of the ILO's Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work branch. She told VOA that when children are forced into the worst forms of labor, such as debt slavery and sex work, they suffer permanent physical and mental damage. Andres said some progress has been made in reducing child labor in Asia and Latin America, but reductions in Africa are decreasing. She said Africa now has the highest levels of child labor in the world. I'm Susan Shand.
I'm Steve Ember.